Okay, here we have an example of a really cool problem, and you'll see stuff like this in your homework a lot. And a lot of this we can do just by using some logic to kind of figure out what things could or could not be. This says the graph of this parabola is given. Match the graph to its equation. All right, so we have this graph where our parabola is opening up, and we have these four possibilities. Well, two of the possibilities we can just knock out from the very beginning because there's no way that they could be possible. Do you recognize which two it could be? Well, since this is opening up, that means it has to be an x squared. So we can knock out the y squared ones right from the beginning. And now we're down to just these two possibilities. Now both of them are x squared. The only difference is that one is talking about 16y, or not talking about, but has 16y on the right, and the other one is 1/16 y on the right. Think about this. They gave us a point here of 1, 16. And remember, just because these are curves doesn't mean that they're any different really than anything else you've ever graphed. Every single point along the curve has to work in the equation. So let's say that we think maybe the answer is C. I should be able to plug that point into this equation and it should make a true statement. So I should be able to plug in a 1 for x and a 16 for y, and we can see that there is no way that that is going to be a true statement, right? So our answer has to be B here, but let's just double check it. Let's put in a 1 for x squared equals 1/16 times, instead of y, let's put in a 16. So 1 squared is 1, and 1/16 times 16 is 1. So that tells us that this is our correct answer. So we're going to use a little bit of logic along with our knowledge to figure this out. Now, this next example is probably actually one of my favorite ones, just because you have so many possibilities here. And this really should be a very easy problem. So I'm going to show you how to kind of, again, use some logic to figure out what it is that you're looking at. So we have our parabola here. They've given us that the vertex is at -1, -4, and they've given us all of these different possibilities here. Well, look at the way that this is shaped first. It's opening up to the right. That means it has to be a y squared. So we can knock out anything that has x being squared right from the very beginning. Cannot be any of those four choices. Now, you can actually knock out two more choices just because, again, this thing is opening to the right. Since it's opening up to the right, that's opening in the positive direction. So that means our 4a has to be positive. It cannot be the negative. So we can knock those out from the very beginning. Alright, now we're down to two more choices. The only thing different about these two choices is the positive and negative of the h and the k position. Now looky here, we have our hk here is -1 and -4. So remember, if we plug it into the equation, this normal generic standard form is y minus k squared equals 4a times x minus h. So if we did y minus the k value here, which is a -4, that's actually going to be y plus 4, isn't it? And if I did y minus h, which is a -1, that's actually going to be x plus 1. So that tells you that it has to be C.